Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Live from the Govardhan Echo Village in beautiful Maharashtra, India. This is Wisdom of the Sages, your daily yoga podcast. I'm your host, Raghunath, here with my good friend and co-host, Kaustubha Das. And I know what you're thinking. Well, I guess if you're listening to this on Apple Podcasts, you're not thinking this, but I am wearing a beautiful orange turban. And I just came back from an incredible wedding today. Yeah. And this is the thing that we do in India. Our good friend, Hari Priya Radha, got married, and we love her so much. And we went to this beautiful Indian wedding, and they turbaned me up. And it was, Kaustubha was there. What do you think?
I thought it was a really beautiful affair on so many levels.
It is.
Yeah. So many, a lot of wisdom shared there. A lot of beauty in the community there.
Well, there's something about an Indian wedding. You feel like, my realization was like, this is like going back to an ancient world.
It felt that way.
It felt like you're like, this could have been 1,000 years ago, 2,000 years ago. Like that, and that's what I love about India is these rituals, these practices, the language, right? The Sanskrit language, the books that people read. Janeshwar was telling me yesterday, he goes, yeah, you don't understand. These books in our village where I grew up, everyone would just came at 4 o'clock. They stopped working. They just get around, read together. They'd read Mahabharata. They read Srimad Bhagavatam. They read Ramayana. That's what we did. That was Netflix.
Yeah.
That was Netflix. You come together, and and the great thing about this culture is that it's not boring. These books are massive, and they go on. It's not like I'm bored with it. When you're finished it, you go either from the beginning, or you go into a whole new epic. It goes on forever.
Or another storyteller comes and explains them in his own way. And
gives it its own insight or his own understanding of it. Never gets old, travels with you at different phases of life, means something different. So anyway, I wore the turban for a look.
You look great.
You see, I was trying to juxtapose it to an American wedding.
Yeah. Which
I can't even imagine an Indian getting. They're like, what do? They take the garter and shoot it off at the groom's friends. I was just like, what? And they're all drunk, dancing with the bride. Come on. It's such a sacred event, these weddings.
Yeah.
You feel like it's almost like you're in the spiritual world. That's how I felt. So we were lucky to be there. We should post a picture. I'll post some pictures on the Telegraph? It's Telegram. Telegram's our new app. We communicate each other. We have a Telegram community.
Yeah.
If you want to join that, or if you have any questions, or if you want to get in our live Zoom group, you're not aware of this. This is taught to all our yoga students. We're here for a month here in India. So there's about 60 of us, including the teachers. And we have also a whole group. How many do we have today that study with us live on Zoom? 59 people. So if you want to join the Zoom group, they all somehow are best friends with each other. We call them live. Then if you get to sometimes go to the show live, like in person, we call that live. And if you listen to the show later at another time because you're in a different time zone or you just don't get around to being live or live, we call you the others. So you're either the other or you're live or you're live. Didn't we have Live Cube the other day? What was that?
Maybe it's who's live and live.
Live. I can't remember. I thought we had Live Cubed. I can't remember what it was.
Live.
Oh yeah, they were here,
and he could
but
even
not here in their room
live.
It was live. Anyway, so I wore the turban, but I'm taking it off now. Really? Okay, I'll keep it on. Yeah. Popular demand wants me to keep the turban, so I'm going to keep it.
Whatever you want, Raghu, you do.
I like it, actually. I sort of like it. Okay, so if you're new to this podcast, this is a study of a Srimad Bhagavatam, one of the ancient books of the Vedic yoga system. And when we talk about yoga, we're talking about connection. We hear the word yoga first spoken about. Yoga means to come together. But when we hear it in its original context with the spiritual literature of ancient India, it's what's coming together is the soul, the self, and the divine. That's the union we're trying to make. Some people say, oh, mind and body. Not mind and body. That comes. But for the primary relationship is myself and the divine. And there's always been a small demographic of people on the planet that have been like, what am I doing here? Where are we going with this life? What's the goal of this life? What do I want out of life? What will actually fulfill me in this life? What is life about? And it's this small demographic that if they push through and search, they end up on a spiritual quest, or they end up losing their minds, truthfully. Usually one of two things happens. They get really depressed. It's all about nothing. It's nothing. We're making up stories. We're creating meaning where there's no meaning. It's just nothing. And people become real thoughtful people. They either become incredibly suicidal or they turn to spirit somehow. We highly recommend turn to spirit. And you'll get all the benefits of deep, deep, rich philosophy and just a beautiful culture, as well as just fun and good company. And so we study this book, which is the essence of the entire yoga system, the Srimad Bhagavatam. We realize that yoga is much more than our workout and just more than it's keeping our ego, first of all, in check. The ego can dominate and can ruin our life. There's times in my life where I've really suffered, and you know who's at the cause of it. It wasn't a twisted ankle or sore lower back or whatever. It was my big ego giving me trouble. And so if I'm doing my yoga poses, but my ego is getting exaggerated, I'm not doing yoga. It's like the old saying, once I take a photo of myself doing yoga, it's no longer yoga.
Is that an old saying?
Here, take a picture. So maybe not that old.
Sorry, did you ever give them the email address?
I never gave you if you want to reach out, join our Zoom group, it's wisdomofthesages108@gmail.com. Or if you have any questions or join the Zoom group, have any questions or what else? Or join the Telegram group where you can just be completely distracted by transcendental enthusiasts all day long. That's what it is. But it's okay.
You're going to be distracted. That's a good way to be distracted.
It's a good distraction. We're going to get distracted anyway. Why not? So I lost my train of thought now, Mara.
We're going to do the mantras.
I was going to do actually, I was still babbling, but
I had one thought about your babbling.
What's that?
I had one thought about your babbling, but unfortunately I don't have the reference. But like you were saying about becoming suicidal or becoming spiritual.
Yeah.
There's one European philosopher, and he said more or less that when you ask the right questions in life, you can become one of two things.
Who's the philosopher?
I don't remember. I should research it.
All right, let's hear it.
But you either become a monk or you become an activist, right? Either you try to transcend the world or you try to change the world. But I think in Bhakti-yoga, we can be both simultaneously. We can have an internal contemplative life, even in the midst of like activism within the world. It's kind of a synthesis.
Or you could just get to this point of it's all nothing. It's all nothing.
Well,
we've just created meaning. It's nothing. We're a bunch of chemicals coming together on the periodic table. We come together. We've created form. We got some leftover Christian or Jewish ethics. It means nothing. We've created God. There is no God. We're just evolving from nothing. And then we add love and romance. It's nothing. We're all going to die anyway. We get attached to things that are going to take it away from us. It's nothing.
Should we entitle this one Raghunath's Nihilism?
Yeah, it's depressing. It's a depressing way to live. And you know what's this interesting thing? That's what they teach you in school. That's what they're teaching in public school. Public school is you are nothing more than a bunch of chemicals on the periodic table come together. And the underlying statement is, this is the truthful underlying statement. Love is concoction. Good and bad is a mental concoction. All you are is chemicals. We evolved from nothing. We evolved from an explosion. There is nothing.
It's all random.
That's depressing. And what's left? Consumerism? Just buying stuff to find meaning? I find my worth from my stuff? Come on. What kind of life is that?
Yeah, I'm not buying it, Raghu.
I don't buy it. And it's depressing. And of course, suicide's epidemic. Good morning. Another cheery day with Raghu.
What happened when he put on that turban?
Yeah, the turban makes me angry. But the Bhagavatam gives light in a dark place.
There you go.
What's up, Mara?
Let's lighten it up.
Let's lighten it up. Mara. Talk more in the mic?
More at it, yeah.
Okay. They're saying I'm not loud enough today. I think I can handle that. I can handle that request. We're talking about yesterday. We were in this very. Oh, let me say those mantras. Let's say those mantras first. We always start. If you're new to this, we start with these mantras glorifying the Bhagavatam. And if you're on our Zoom group, we'll send them out to you. But not today. Maybe we could send them out so the new people can get them. Narayanam namaskrityam naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tojayam mudiraye. Before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisances to the personality of Godhead Narayan, unto Narayan Rishi, the supermost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and to Srila Vyasadeva, the author. Nasta prayeshvabhadreshu nityam bhagavat sevaya bhagavati uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naistiki. By regular attendance in classes on the Bhagavatam and by rendering service to the pure devotee, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed. And loving service to the personality of Godhead, who is praised with transcendental songs, is established as an irrevocable fact. Om Jnana Tamrandasya Gyananjana Salakaya Chaksurun Milatam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. So we left off in a very interesting place in the Bhagavatam yesterday. A prediction of an entire religion. The prediction of Buddha.
Yeah.
The Buddha came from India, in Gaya. He was enlightened in Gaya. He spoke about his mother. We're going through this part of the Bhagavatam that speaks about the incarnations of Vishnu. And we got upon this age that we live in of Kali Yuga. So Buddhism appeared roughly 2,000 years ago.
I think 25, but I'm not sure.
Before appearance of Christ.
Yes.
Right? Before the appearance of Christ, Buddhism was all over India. But it obviously the book speaking of Buddha appearing in the future. And then now it's going to speak about the next avatar. When is the next avatar? Thereafter. This is text 25. Thereafter, the conjunction of the two yugas. So we got some time. Right? We said there's
437,000.
27,000 years left. Because there's 432,000 years in Kali Yuga. So we're at 5,000
437, but I could be 37? Wrong. Yeah. Anyway, whatever. Well over 400,000.
Okay. It's give or take a few hundred. I might be off a few thousand. Is that a problem? Isn't it great when you talk in thousands of or hundreds of thousands of years? You're like, that's right. The world will go on. It might not be looking like this. It could be completely devastated, burnt down. Just like
here you go to the nihilism again.
Going back to destruction. All right, I gotta stop talking.
I'm just kidding. No, go ahead.
All right. Thereafter, the conjunction of the two yugas. So the end of Kali Yuga and the beginning of Satya Yuga, the next. Because these yugas are always changing. We're in this dark age right now, and then comes Satya Yuga. The Lord of creation will take the birth as Kalki, the incarnation, and become the son of Vishnu Yasa. At that time, the rulers of the earth will have degenerated into plunderers. Seems like we're right about there. Here's the purport. Here's another foretelling of the advent of Lord Kalki, incarnation. He is to appear at the conjunction of the two yugas, namely the end of Kali Yuga and the beginning of Satya Yuga. The cycle of the four yugas, namely Satya, Treta, Dwarpa, and Kali, rotates like the calendar months, sort of like the seasons. The present Kali Yuga lasts 432,000 years, out of which we have passed only 5.
There you go. You were right. I was wrong.
5,000 years after the battle of Kurukshetra and at the end of the regime of King Parikshit. So there are 427,000 years balanced yet to be finished. Therefore, at the end of this period, the incarnation of Kalki will take place, as foretold in the Srimad Bhagavatam. The name of his father is Vishnu Yasha, a learned Brahmana in the village of Shambhala, as is also above mentioned. As above mentioned, all these foretellings will prove to be factual in chronological order. That is the authority of the Srimad Bhagavatam. Pretty interesting.
It is.
It's amazing that they said there's still going to be Brahmins. He's going to be the son of a Brahmin.
Yeah.
So there'll always be some people practicing.
They make it all the way through to the end of the Kali Yuga.
It's hard to believe.
It is.
There is something about just being in India, I will say, that just being at that wedding, the caliber of the people that come to that wedding.
Some special people there.
Special people. I just feel so unqualified.
I know.
When I get around people like that. Unqualified in every facet of my life. It's quite depressing. It's quite depressing. But fortunately, the essence of bhakti is there. What's the essence of bhakti? Is to give love from your heart, to connect with the divine through love. So as degraded of a culture as we come from, as little Vedic understanding as I have,
as dented as we are,
as dented as this can is, there's hope. Isn't that good news?
And the
it's the good news.
And the
that's very Christian, isn't it? It's the good news.
Yeah, but the bhakti culture, it can recognize that, and therefore those external. Like, I agree with you. We're sitting there, and I feel like I'm sitting among people that have led lives that are, in a sense, more enlightened with clarity and like more sane.
Dharmic.
They just haven't been watching all the stupid stuff and listening to all the stupid stuff, and in certain ways, their minds are more clear, and just the samskars within their minds are more pure. We've been exposed, and it illustrates to me that when society goes towards material enjoyment like full force, it ultimately gets kind of warped.
Real warped, real quick.
But still, because we're all operating on that level of that divine level of bhakti yoga, it's kind of like everyone accepts everyone. We kind of connect on another level where we might have a trouble connecting merely on the material platform. We're connected on the spiritual platform.
Sure. I agree. I think that's in that way you can actually see people, whether a person's a great intellectual or from a very sophisticated family or someone very poor, they can dance and embrace in kirtan because they're on another platform almost.
Yeah.
Or they can embrace us or me. I look at you as one of those very qualified, but we are connected on a higher platform in bhakti. And it's interesting in the material world. We're desperately trying to find equality. Guess what? You can't. We're not equal. We cannot find equality on the material platform. She's smarter than me, right? Someone's more clever than me. Someone's bigger and stronger than me. Someone's more intellectual than me. You can't find it on the material platform.
Some are wealthy, some are poor.
Someone's more wealthy, someone more poor. How do we you can never make the playing field equal. All you can do is see things as their spirit. Everybody on this world is spirit, and they must be treated with some type of dignity.
Yeah.
And that extends outside the human citizens of this world, because all the animals are citizens. All the plants and trees are citizens. There's got to be dignity given to life. And that's where we find connection.
That yoga system should be making it clear to us the sacredness of all life.
Yeah. Okay, let's carry on. Text 26. O Brahmanas, the incarnation of the Lords are innumerable, like rivulets flowing from inexhaustible source of water. So we've mentioned some, but there's so many. God is unlimited, so there's so many different incarnations in different planets, in different time, right? In
universes.
Ages,
universes.
Text 27. All the rishis, manus, and demigods and descendants of Manu who are especially powerful are plenary portions or portions of the plenary portions of the Lord. This also includes the prajapatis.
Okay.
Want to say something about the prajapatis?
Well, what that verse means is that, again, sweet
Right.
baby Krishna.
I'm losing the turban. Sorry. Turban's coming on. Get a little hot.
Okay.
Hot in the head.
Sweet baby Krishna is enjoying in Goloka Vrindavan. But due to the soul's desire to enjoy separately, the material realm exists. And while he continues to enjoy, he's either expanding into what you could call a plenary portion, which would mean it's him. You know, it's got his power all there, you know, or at least it's him. It's not different from him. Or a portion of the plenary portion, someone that's not him but gets some of his power. So that could mean the devas. We first had the 3 Vishnu forms entering one level after another. And the guna avatars were mentioned, who are responsible for the 3 modes of material nature and how they operate.
I thought you were going to get into the prajapatis.
Well, I'm getting there. I'm right there. I'm just, it's giving you. And also there are going to need to be the devas that are taking care of the different, the sun, the moon, the water, the mountain, the ocean, all of these things. And then there are the prajapatis. We need to create some life here. We need to create, you know, some kids. Got to have some kids, and they have to have kids, and it goes on and on. And so these prajapatis were empowered. They were portions of the plenary portions. They were invested with some energy, some shakti, to create all the different life forms and populate the universe.
The prajapatis, these are like the fathers of the species. What, they give birth to other species? Is that how the prajapatis work? They give birth to many species?
They have the ability to do so.
Imagine that?
Yes. With their minds.
Ladies?
Yeah.
Imagine that? You ever wonder? A boy or a girl? I didn't check. I didn't get this. I didn't get the, what's it called? The ultrasound. I don't know if I'm going to have a boy or girl. I'm just going to go in there. Imagine,
is it human or mammal?
A puppy. We give birth to many species. The prajapatis gave birth to different species of life. It ends that age-old question: what came first, the chicken or the egg? What came first, the chicken or the egg? I'm asking you guys. The egg. No, wait. The egg came from a chicken, so it must be the chicken. Wait a second. Chicken from an egg. There's no answer. There's an answer.
It's actually
the prajapatis. It came from the prajapatis. One day the prajapati goes, but I just laid an egg.
Well, I was going to say, did the prajapati lay an egg, or did the prajapati create a chicken? Still got the question there.
Probably laid an egg.
I don't know if that's true.
There's probably one prajapati that makes every egg.
You don't know that.
And there's one mammal prajapati.
You're speculating now.
I'm completely speculating on that one, but I have no idea. The mammal prajapati. And there's, right, what else? The reptile prajapati. Oh.
Well, I think one prajapati can create many of these different species.
I guess if they can create many different species, why not?
If they can do one, why not be able to do 2?
Why not be able to do lizards and animals with hair and mammary glands? All right.
Now that you shared those thoughts, we're about to approach one of the most important verses in the entire 18,000 verses of the Srimad Bhagavatam.
You hear what he said? That was a good build-up. Get your seatbelt on, Carla. Some people are listening while driving. Some people on Zoom, they're just like walking down New York City street like they're on a runway or something. Some people are just sitting there. Some people are still rolling around in bed. Okay, here's Kaustubha said this is one of the most important ones.
This is called the Paribhasha Sutra of the Srimad Bhagavatam. And that means that commonly within a yogic text, towards the beginning of the text, there'll be one verse. And this verse acts in a sense like a key, that by understanding this verse, you can understand every verse in the context of the understanding of this verse. So it helps clarify the meaning of the entire text.
Say that again. Write that down there.
That this verse, through this verse, it helps us understand the context of the entire work.
Okay. What's the Sanskrit? Lindsay, you got this? I'm gonna give
of this particular verse?
No.
Pari, P-A-R-I.
Yeah.
B-H-A-S-A. Paribhasha Sutra.
Paribhasha Sutra.
S-U-T-R-A.
Okay.
Paribhasha.
Here it is. All of the above incarnations are either plenary portions or portions of the plenary portions of the Lord. But Lord Sri Krishna is the original personality. All of them appear on planets whenever there is a disturbance created by atheists. The Lord incarnates to protect the theists. Atheist and theist means those who believe in that there's source, there's order to the universe, and atheist means it's random. Everything is random in this world. It's just random. We don't say that.
That's
We
what
say
you were
everything
talking
has a
about.
reason.
You were just talking about that.
We're just talking about that. It always happens like that. Talk about something, it just happens.
Yeah.
There's not random. It's completely, nothing's random in this world. Everything is meant for us. There's benevolent hands, benevolent eyes upon us at all times. We were saying earlier how you look back at your life and you realize God, the universe, sweet baby Krishna, whatever you want to call God, has been sending me messengers my entire life. And when I'm in total illusion, I don't even see them. I just think, oh, what? Walking through this world, it's just all random. But there's been messengers sent to me from the very beginning, guiding me. And to the degree that I see, whoa, this is a real message. I got to take my life seriously. We wake up to it. And we start to learn that these so-called random things are messengers by associating with people who had the vision, the spiritual vision, to see something that appears ordinary and see the spiritual substance behind it.
Yeah, that's a sage.
That's a sage. That's you, brother.
No, you.
That's you.
You.
You are
You.
an extension of you are a plenary portion of the wisdom of the sages.
Stop. But that should be our goal, that our mind should be so even in the sense that we're not rocked by the externals of this world, so that we can become a little peaceful in mind. Whether it's hot or cold, I'm still okay. Whether I'm being honored or dishonored, I'm still okay. Whether I'm getting exactly what I want or I'm not getting caught up. Let me change the world so that it all fits into what my mind and senses want. I've learned how to move through the world and be content under different circumstances. Then I can have the ability to go a little within and have some clear vision about what's going on without, how it's all related. You know, if we can have a peaceful mind, these insights will come then. And as long as our mind's running back and forth here and there, we can't see the lessons that are being laid out right in our very own life for our upliftment.
So it's the association of the saintly people as well as absorbing the mind on a regular basis, bathing the mind, as Henry David Thoreau put it.
Oh, nice.
In the wisdom literature of the East.
What did he say about the Bhagavad-gita? He said that, right?
He said that about the Bhagavad-gita.
Each morning I bathe my mind in the cosmological something of the Gita.
Something like that.
To which today's literature seems puny or something.
Something like that, yeah. Mark Twain was a big Gita fan, India fan.
Emerson, Thoreau.
Yeah.
Sure.
Oh, here's the Thoreau quote. She's on it, or someone's on it, and handed it. It was you, okay. I'll give you the credit there. Okay. Henry David Thoreau was, in the morning I bathe my intellect in the stupendous and cosmogonal. Okay. Philosophy of the Bhagavad-gita, in comparison which our modern world and its literature seem puny and trivial.
And Ralph Waldo Emerson?
Emerson said, I owed a magnificent day to the Bhagavad-gita. It was the first books.
First of books.
It was the first of books. And it was as if an empire spoke to us. Nothing small or unworthy, but large, serene, consistent, the voice of an old intelligence, which in another age and climate had pondered and thus disposed of the same questions which exercises us. And here we are asking the similar questions because the questions are eternal and the answers are sort of eternal. And and not everyone's going to ask them. There's a small demographic of people who will be surrounded by a lot of people in this world and feel like, what am I doing here? I feel alone. I want to find connection. And some of them will really pursue that path. These are the age-old questions. What's it all about? What is there to purchase in this world?
Yeah.
To find some wholeness? Am I just supposed to find a lover? Is that it? Aren't animals just doing that? They mate and then they have some little baby piglets or little chicks. Is that what we're supposed to do? We're just another version of them? Am I supposed to get a really soft bed, a really high apartment in the sky? What's the goal? Is it to live simply, live with nothing? Is that the goal? Just like renounce? Where are we going with all this? And India has always been a place that, when Greece was in its infancy, empires, spiritual empires were all over India. And the more they study it, the more they find they keep pushing that date back. It's actually older than we thought. It's actually older than we thought. And it's still living. It's still living, breathing culture. This is how we started the whole show. All right, let's continue. Okay, so you're saying this is the key verse, important verse, because, or what was the Sanskrit about that again? The
Paribhasha Sutra.
Paribhasha Sutra.
So this is, again, the Bhagavatam is the book wherein Vyasadeva is trying to clarify the meaning of all his literature. And in this verse, by name, he calls out Krishna. He says that I just gave you a big, long list of all the avatars. And I said that all these avatars, and even the devas and the prajapatis, they all come from who? He unmistakably, by using the name Krishna, Krishnastu Bhagavan Svayam, he says, that Sri Krishna is Bhagavan, that he is the possessor of all opulence, and that all of these other important, powerful figures, they're either him, they're either coming from him or coming from those that are coming from him. And he's still, and what is he doing? Well, we're going to read about that in the 10th canto of this book. He's going to give a very long, of this 18,000 verse text, 1/4 of it is about Krishna's life. And there we're going to go deeper and deeper into the final, the complete teachings of all the yoga teachings are going to be revealed through hearing about Krishna's life. Up to the very point where this beautiful boy is dancing with these beautiful highest yogis or yoginis of all, the gopis. And they're standing before him. And he's saying, you should go back to the world that you come from. Go back. They're out in the middle of the night. They heard his flute. Their calling of love for him, it pulls their hearts and pulls them to run out to him. And he says, why don't you go back to your homes? Why don't you go back to the world? And they say, we've lost interest in everything but you. We want to serve you. We want to reconnect with you. Please accept us. And that's what all the teachings from the Vedas, the Upanishads, the Mahabharata, the Puranas, it all leads to that just like you were saying, that you feel a calling. Some people feel a calling. What is this life all about? And ultimately, that calling is meant to direct us to run to run to Krishna. Run to who? Run to Krishna. It's identified in this verse right here. So
it's the big identifier verse.
Yeah.
And all the avatars and all the beings. The verse itself is saying, it's actually the origin of it all.
The origin.
Yeah, it's all one, right. But the origin of it all is coming from sweet little baby Krishna.
Sweet baby Krishna.
Sweet little baby Krishna.
Sweet little 8 pound 6 ounce Krishna.
8 pound 6 ounce Krishna.
And so through the first 9 cantos, the Krishna's life is given in the 10th canto. The first 9 cantos, we're going to hear about these devas. We're going to hear about these plenary portions and portions of plenary portions.
And they're all fantastic and phenomenal and worshipable.
And then when we get to Krishna, this boy that's running around the forest, we understand he's no ordinary boy.
Yeah.
All those great, fantastic, amazing, and powerful figures that we're hearing about before, they all come from this boy. Even when he's a little baby. Sweet little baby.
Sweet.
All of the Vishnu who breathes out the universes through his pores, that's him. It's coming from him. The powerful devas, Brahma who creates, it's coming from him. It's directing us so that we get it all clear.
Mahadev, Shiva, Maheshwar, who's so powerful, worshipped by so many, gives so much benediction, so kind, is ultimately coming from Brahma, coming from Shiva.
Yeah. So if we want to connect with our source, if we want to connect with the root, this verse is establishing that. And it's saying through this verse, as you read through the different and hear about the different devas, the different incarnations, avatars, that they're all coming from this boy. And then when you hear about the boy, your conception of him will hopefully be less clouded by seeing him as ordinary. And you understand that all the Shaktis, all the potencies, they come from this form, this divine form of sweet baby Krishna.
Little sweet baby Krishna.
Little sweet Krishna.
Kaustubha was talking about the gopis, and the gopis were dancing, and Krishna said, oh, just go back. No, I've lost taste for everything.
Yeah.
It's our life. It's our life. That's me. That's me. I'm a gopi. I've lost taste. Right? The more I develop attraction for Krishna, the more the things of this world seem so puny.
Yeah.
Even the things I thought were so great, I realize, what am I kidding? It's temporary. What am I kidding? It's not even that fulfilling. What am I kidding? Big deal. All those things I thought was so big deal.
It's like all the yoga, all the mantras, all the rituals, all of the teachings, all of the culture is meant to lead us to that point, to say what they say. Please accept me. I've given up on all those. Please accept me. I want to reconnect.
And I think it's safe to say that the people who are waking up at 5 a.m. and jumping on Zoom, except the Europeans, cruising in at 11.
Well, they're getting the break right now. They're coming in at 7:30.
Oh, they're coming at 7:30.
We're going to switch back for too
Switching
long.
back and ready. But we're not sure yet.
Oh, really?
But it's safe to say all the Zoomers, no matter where they're from, as well as all the people listening on a regular basis, as well as all the students here with us, they have some peculiar taste. Because they have time.
Good point.
It made some time in their lives. And it's hard to make time in this age. Who can take off for a month and come out here? And who's got money to take off for a month? It's time, it's resources, it's childcare. It's talking, dealing with a boss or stopping my business and say, look, or deal with a spouse. Hey, you got to watch the kid because I'm going to India. And it's not like we're on a beach in Aruba. We're sitting on the floor in a dusty country. You know what I mean? Some of us coming from a very beautiful place or nice places. We've been to better oceans. We're Americans or Westerners. We've been to better beaches. You're not impressing us with your beaches. You know? We got beautiful rivers. We got the Grand Canyon. Come on. Grand Canyon. But we're missing something. We're not here for some external beauty. Although it is beautiful where we are right now. We got this beautiful backdrop of these mountains, and we're actually in an eco village. It's quite beautiful. But we're not here for an external beauty. There's something else dragging us here. We're waking up early. We're sitting on the floor. Who does that on vacation?
There's a calling in the heart.
There's a calling in the heart. People, you know what people do on vacation? They sleep in. It's vacation. I'm not waking up. We're waking up at 5. We're starting at 5:30, so we're waking up earlier. Some of you guys are waking up at 3:30. How many people here are waking up at 3:30? Say aye. There's a big gang of ayes here. 4 o'clock, say aye. Okay. Mary should be on the 3:30 team. Yeah, so it's sort of like there's something going on with these people that is not ordinary. And we were just saying, and the experience won't be ordinary. We were saying if you're having an ordinary experience, you're not here. And that's what was the theme of our morning class this morning was, if you're going through some type of like, oh my God, I'm going to lose my mind, that's a good sign. You're in the right place. You're doing things right. If your world is crumbling, or if you're in some type of ecstatic, I don't know why I'm so happy, then it's extraordinary or it's tragic, but it's not ordinary. If it's ordinary, you haven't entered. Let's go back in.
Yeah, let's go back.
All the rishis, the manus, the demigods, the descendants of Manu, who are all especially powerful, and the plenary portions and the portions of the plenary portions of the Lord. This is also includes the prajapatis. Above, all above mentioned.
All mentioned above?
What? I already read those verses. Sorry. Oh, sorry.
Well, it was the most important verse.
It was the most important. It's worth reading a couple times. Whoever carefully recites the mysterious appearance of the Lord with devotion in the morning and in the evening gets relief from all miseries of life.
That's what we're doing.
That's what we're doing now. We got that going for us now.
What a great verse.
In the Bhagavad-gita, the personality of God, there's a purport,
yeah,
has declared that anyone who knows the principles of the transcendental birth and activities of the Lord will go back to Godhead.
What's the verse, Raghu? On the hot seat.
Oh, yeah, one who knows the appearance and disappearance. Give
me the first word. I'll give you the first word.
Give me the first word.
Give me the first letter.
Give me the first word.
Janma.
Oh, Janma karma chame divyam.
Evam yoveti.
Evam yometi tatvataha. Thank you.
Deham punar janma. Naiti mametu sarjuna.
Oh, Damodar Priya, making me look bad. Come on. Show off. Damodar Priya.
We should keep putting each other on the hot seat so that we got to get less rusty.
Okay. All right. Or how about I just put you in the hot seat? Just to keep you a sharper.
Okay.
Okay.
But what a verse.
What a verse. Whoever carefully recites the mysterious appearance of the Lord.
They're not, you can't just take them at face value. You can't just look at oh, that's your Hindu mythology. No, there's a mystery there that needs to be entered, right? It takes the right qualification to be able to enter it, to understand it. You got to approach it with some, if you're going to understand it, you have to approach it understanding that it's special.
Mm.
Right? And then if you carefully, not just carelessly, but carefully recite it, right? With devotion. When? In the morning and in the evening. Great times.
Great times a day. Winding down. That's what we're doing.
When the passion has reduced.
Right? Yeah, work is over. It's the end of the day.
Yeah. Or
instead of
nothing
going to
started up
Tamas,
yet. Yeah.
instead of going to Tamas,
Yeah.
let's go right to the Bhagavatam. Let's go to Ram Leela.
Yeah.
Let's go right to Netflix.
No,
don't do that.
bring it back.
We're trying to replace. We're trying to replace stuff that takes up their mind, leaves impressions on our consciousness, and replace it with other things.
You want to take yoga off the mat? Right here.
Here it is. Yoga off the mat. We're doing it right now.
Yeah. In the morning, in the evening.
Unless you want to read it on your mat. You can do that too.
You can do that too.
Then it's yoga.
The mat isn't the question. But if you want to go deeper, this is a way for thousands of years people have gone deeper into yoga by carefully reciting these pastimes, reading them, contemplating them, discussing them, trying to understand them more deeply. That's what the mind's meant to contemplate. That's what the mind's meant to reflect on. So much value there.
Okay. I'm going to skip the purport and go on.
Okay.
We're on 30. By the way, if you're just joining us, it's Canto 1, Chapter 3, Text 30, the Srimad Bhagavatam. The conception of the Virat, universal form of the Lord, as appearing in the material world is imaginary. It is to enable the less intelligent neophytes to adjust the idea of the Lord's having form.
All right.
But factually, the Lord has no material form.
So that's saying that, say you have a hard time swallowing that sweet baby Krishna is the origin of innumerable avatars who come in all different kind of forms. I see God in nature.
Common statement.
When I see the mountain, I can think of God. That's God's
bump.
Yeah, God's, the bones are the mountains and the veins are the rivers. And
God has a bump.
But I may feel more comfortable seeing God in nature. So then we can see God in nature too. But it's saying it's imaginary because in a sense that is made out of material energy, whereas Krishna's form is made out of pure spiritual energy. But if that's and it's saying neophyte, I mean, it may sound demeaning, but it's just trying to be accurate. That for a beginner, for someone who's not, the previous verse said these are mysterious pastimes. They're not easy to understand. Not everybody's going to be, it's esoteric. Not everyone's going to be able to enter into it. But a neophyte, someone that's a beginner, that's not on that level, may see God not in the form of sweet baby Krishna, but in nature.
I think it's okay to be a neophyte. I think in the big picture of things, I'm a neophyte. I'm okay with that.
You're in love with sweet baby Krishna.
Yeah, but,
don't try to hide it.
These are like lifetimes of study and practices, sure. And there's always got to be a beginning. It's not bad to be.
That's why I'm saying it's actually not demeaning, but
no.
It's saying for people that haven't entered into that mystery, they can understand God in nature. Someone that's entered into that mystery, they're going to see God in the form as well as in nature.
Clouds and dust are carried by the air, but the less intelligent person says that the sky is cloudy and the air is dirty. Similarly, they also implant material bodily conceptions on the spirit self.
Okay, so we got an analogy here.
You want to go with that?
Shall we read the commentary?
It is further confirmed herein that within our material eyes and senses, we cannot see the Lord, who is all spirit. We cannot even detect the spiritual spark which exists in the material body of the living being. We look to the outward covering of the body or subtle mind of the living being, but we cannot see the spiritual spark within the body.
Okay.
So we have to accept the living being's presence by the presence of his gross body. Similarly, those who want to see the Lord with their present material eyes or with their material senses are advised to meditate on the gigantic external feature called Virat Rupa.
Universal form.
The universal form. For instance, when a particular gentleman goes to his car, which can be seen very easily. We identify the car with the man in the car. When the president goes out to his particular car, we say, there is the president. For the time being, we identify the car with the president. Good analogy.
Mm-hmm.
Similarly, less intelligent men who want to see God immediately without necessary qualification are shown first the gigantic material cosmos as the form of the Lord, although the Lord is within and without. The clouds in the sky and the blue of the sky are also better appreciated in this connection. Although the bluish tint of the sky and the sky itself are different, we conceive of the color of the sky as blue. But that is a general conception for the layman only.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's just like someone comes to, I said this yesterday, I think. Someone comes upstate to New York from the city, and first thing they do is, oh my God, the stars are so bright here. The sky is so big. And it's humbling.
Yeah.
I've heard that to see the ocean destroys past sin. I don't know if that's true or not, but I heard that somewhere.
Well, okay, that's an interesting statement.
Because I was thinking, and some of you live, like Katie lives by the ocean, and some of you guys live by the ocean. It's sort of like, the ocean is so vast, it's humbling.
Yes.
You see your tininess when you see something so great.
And to not be humble is a result of sin. Sin is used in a different way here. That we say there's different levels of sin, but sin means, you could say it's the bad karma that is situated in my mind.
Just from acting inappropriately, not according with nature. We don't like the S word because of all the maybe Christian baggage that came with it.
So let's say bad karma.
I say, like, when we act inappropriately against nature. But I overate, right? That's not with nature, and I suffer because of it.
And both would be, and in that, both the act and the result would be wrapped up in this term sin, or if we want to call it bad karma. There's the acting in terms of bad karma, and there's the result. And so if I go to the ocean, as a person that's either dull or arrogant or narrow-minded, and by looking at that ocean, it gives me a sense of the truth, of the vastness of God, of in my own, on one level, insignificance. If it makes me humble, then it's countered my bad karma, or it's countered my sin, however you want to say it. Right?
Go to the moral of the story is we should be at the beach right now to keep us a little humble. All right, where are we at? Yeah.
Text 32.
Text 32. Beyond this gross conception of the form is another subtle conception of the form, which is without formal shape and is unseen, unheard, and unmanifest. The living being has his form beyond this subtlety. Otherwise, he could not have repeated births. What is that?
I need to hear the commentary to understand that more deeply. I mean, beyond this gross conception of form, beyond the body, there's the soul.
You want to read that? Read the commentary,
Right.
Prabhu. Please, Prabhu.
Here we go. As the gross, and here when we say gross, we don't mean disgusting
Grotesque.
gross. We mean gross like tangible. As the gross cosmic manifestation is conceived as the gigantic body of the Lord, so also there is the conception of his subtle form, which is simply realized without being seen, heard, or manifested. But in fact, all these gross or subtle conceptions of the body are in relation with the living beings. The living being has his spiritual form beyond this gross material or subtle psychic existence, beyond the body and the mind. The gross body and the psychic functions, the mind, cease to act as soon as the living being leaves the visible gross body. In fact, we say that the living being has gone away because he is unseen and unheard. Even when the gross body is not acting, when the living being is in sound sleep, we know that he is within the body by his breathing. So the living being's passing away from the body does not mean that there's no existence of the living soul. It is there. Otherwise, how can he repeat his births again and again? The conclusion is that the Lord is eternally existent in his transcendental form, which is neither gross nor subtle, like that of the living being. His body is never to be compared to the gross or subtle bodies of the living being. All such conceptions of God's body are imaginary. The living being has his eternal spiritual form, which is conditioned only by his material contamination. We're talking about nature being the body of God, But just as if we look at our body, there's something unseen that gives it life that's behind it.
Aga.
And
I
that would be the
gotcha.
soul. Similarly, when we look at nature and we think this is God,
This is it.
there's a soul of this universe
Mm.
that we're not seeing, that's beyond it. And that's
I'm giving the
Krishna
head
or
bob
Krishna.
right now.
Thank
You cannot see that if you're listening to Apple Podcasts. What do you think of dreams?
dreams are mysterious.
Dreams are mysterious.
Prabhupada
I cannot
speaks-
figure out
He
dreams.
speaks a lot about them, but sometimes he says they're meaningless, and sometimes he says certain ones are
Who
important.
does?
Srila Prabhupada, he's written about dreams. We should do a little research on dreams.
Well, let's do some research. My dreams, I find them uncanny.
in
they're-
what sense?
I can remember my dreams when I wake up like more accurately than I can remember reality.
Most people just forget them. Like,
Well, I
instantly.
know I forget them too, but as soon as I wake up, it's like I remember the place, the car we are in, the people's face that I felt like I had a relationship with, some other version of my mom's house that's not my mom's house, but I know all the rooms and like details. What's up? Where's that coming from? Am I traveling somewhere?
Well, it's coming from impressions.
Is
that
I'm
are
making it
stored in
all
the
up?
mind. You're experiencing things, and then the mind is like taking those ingredients and
I want an answer, man. I want a real answer.
You're
though.
not
We don't
listening.
know. I feel like we got to
Try
find a
it.
dream expert.
Huh.
Are you an expert on dreams?
Are you-
Mind carries different vibrations. Over the example of if you see a mountain and if you see a gold, you'll see a golden mountain in your dream.
I know I've heard that expression. Prabhu was saying, if you see a mountain, you see gold, then you might have a dream of a gold mountain. I get that, but I see that gold mountain so perfectly. Like I've been to that gold mountain. I've been there on that gold mountain.
Well, okay, so this is interesting, but you know that the gold mountain doesn't exist. Yes?
Well,
that
I
it was
know,
just a dream. Come on.
I can't. I
Come
just
on.
can't accept it. I'm gonna have to ask the mystic.
What I'm trying to say is that one thing that we could get from dreams is that just like, you're being eaten by a tiger and you're being chased by the dream, you wake up, you realize I wasn't being chased.
I know, but my point is,
Well, I'm trying to go further with it.
I understand it's temporary. Are we leaving? Are we leaving our body? Are we going to another plane of existence?
Oh, I see.
Are we going to another planet? Are we coming back?
Okay, but I'm trying to speak about what you might gain from it, what you might learn from it.
Sometimes I do. I've actually had very spiritual dreams.
What have you
Sometimes
learned?
instruction. What?
What have you learned?
What have I learned?
Yeah.
I've had spiritual dreams.
No, but I'm not even talking about the instruction within the dream. I'm talking about the dream itself as an instruction. In other words, that
What?
like someone may tell you something in a dream and you get an instruction. But what I'm saying is by contemplating the dream itself, it can help us understand like that we're talking about different levels of truth.
I understand what's going on here. You're trying to keep it on the Bhagavatam. I'm trying to
No.
I'm trying to take a hard detour here.
I know. And I'm saying I can't go down that detour with you. I won't be able to help you there.
Okay. You're saying it's whatever, it's all temporary. There's a lesson, but what's the deeper lesson? And
Well, no,
I get it.
but I'm saying that
I just wanted an answer.
all right. I'm sorry.
I know,
I
maybe
let
we
you
can't-
down.
I'm going to do some research and I'll be
Okay.
back. I'm going to the mystic in Vrindavan. I'm going
There
to
you go.
ask him, what does he think about dreams? He'll have an answer.
He'll have an answer for you.
Okay.
We got to put him on the show.
He'll take over. Take over that mystic. Whenever a person experiences by self-realization, both the gross and subtle bodies have nothing to do with the pure self. At that time, he sees himself as well as the Lord.
Well, look at that.
What? If the illusory
You just
energy
skipped over that real
subsides.
quick. That verse is so important.
Oh, okay. Sorry. See, that's amazing. That's what you call real spiritualists. They know the ones that are important. I could read through this whole thing like nothing here for me. Nothing here for me.
Where's the butter story?
Where's the butter story? Where's that butter boy? That butter baby. He stole the butter again. I didn't get to that one yet. Okay, what did I miss?
Let's
What did I
save that
miss?
for tomorrow. I just want to share one thing today. At that wedding, I saw a child that had a balloon that was shaped like sweet baby Krishna and
I
had its
saw that
arms.
balloon. Did you see that balloon? It's a Krishna baby, Krishna balloon.
And as soon as I saw it, I said, oh, Raghunath would love that balloon.
You know what? I almost stole it from that baby. But I like, this is completely inappropriate. All of a sudden you hear a baby crying and me running with a balloon.
But that balloon, it had some rasa to it. You know,
It was
pretty
a
sweet.
charming
It
balloon.
was a very charming balloon.
Yeah. It was one of those Anyway, what do you call those? Mylar balloons?
No, but
Mylar balloons.
I had a dream. I had a vision of the Macy's Day Parade with that balloon. You know, like a big one, and like all the people from Wisdom of the Sages, like holding onto the ropes and bringing it down Broadway.
If you joined us on our podcast, thanks for joining us. We love you, and we'll see you tomorrow. And everybody in Zoom, who are you people? Where are you from? And all you here, who are you people? Thank you, our guests, honored guests.
Yeah. We got to get Buckman G over here. We got to get a Kiko G over here. Yeah, they're both coming.
Bono! Come on, Sega, clap your hands.